Mic check, episode 189. We took a week off, but now we back. Welcome back. Welcome to.
Yeah, I was trying to like. There was like 4 songs running through my head as you did that whole intro right there.
What was the other song?
I don't know. Like that's the thing. I was trying to like catch up to.
It was
him.
like
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Mace though, bro. Like,
okay,
you wanna talk about live the life
and rebrands. That man is the rebrand king,
bro. Like it's such a roller coaster his life, right? Like you hop on the scene with Diddy and them, then you leave to go be a preacher. Yeah. Then you kind of come back to the music game. Yeah. And now you and him and Cam got arguably one of the funniest.
Fabio Foreign. I think
he's on the Mace?
I think he was. Mace was.
That sounds familiar.
Was responsible. They talked about it on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast and how I think they had a falling out though. But yeah, like man of multiple rebrands. Imagine being. I mean, similar to like NBA players now. Imagine being like 19, 20 years old and running in that type of money and that type of celebrity and fame right after, or, you know, I guess he came and was big or starting to be big as Notorious B.I.G., the final year of his life, and then he, you know, tragically was killed. And then right after that, like you're the next guy up, like you're hot. Imagine, and then look, I mean, you like the hottest rapper at that point.
Come on, man! Hey, don't leave while you're hot.
That's how Mace screwed up.
Come on, man!
But I mean, imagine that. I mean, in our early childhood, Mace was that guy.
Yeah, he was.
It was Mace.
Even now,
Mace and DMX.
Yeah, it was. And like Mace was carrying Bad Boy.
He was. He kept the lights on, and then we use that phrase "kept the lights off." Yeah, kept the lights on. Like, you know, they were struggling, but like in a sense, like he was the guy carrying the torch.
Yeah, he was. After, like you said, after Biggie, probably the most recognizable artist on Bad Boy.
Justin had a shiny suit. He did.
I did. Damn, I was gonna say something about Mace. I don't remember.
I never heard him preach.
I never heard him preach either. I remember running around in the suits and stuff. 24 Hours to Live. I go back and listen to 24 Hours to Live like periodically now. Like
that's a hard
track.
That's a hard track.
Like we got to bring that back where you get the whole squad on the track. Like
it was. I mean, that song is like what, 5 minutes long or something like that. DMX is on it.
DMX, Mace. You had Jadakiss, like Locks, all of them. Like that's a tough.
Yeah, that's a yeah. We're never getting those days back. You know what? We're not getting 5-minute songs back, and we're not getting bridges back on songs.
No, never.
Like especially on R&B songs.
Yeah.
I was listening to. I've been listening to a lot of Little Brother lately. I love Little
I
Brother.
I saw you interview Fonte.
Shout out Fonte Tigolo. Fonte Coleman from Little Brother. Yeah, they were here in Durham. They were here in Durham last week. They accepted the proclamation for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. You know, who else would you honor in that situation in Durham? I mean, like Little Brother started here in Durham, so shout out to them. And so Fonte was gracious enough to do an interview. He had some availability. So
were you because I know how much you love Little Brother. Like, were you like?
I was fan.
You had the fan for a second.
I had a fan for a little bit, man. But he's so cool. It's kind of like talking to like your. Like a big brother, a big cousin. Like he has that vibe. And he's from Green. I didn't realize he's from Greensboro.
I know that.
I didn't know. For some reason, I thought he was from, in my mind, I don't know why I thought he was from Ahoskie, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And why that sounds so random is because is a song on there where like, their first album is like they're doing like this mock like radio show. Yeah. And like, they mentioned Ahoskie, North Carolina, and for some reason in my mind it stuck out. Like, oh yeah, he's from like Eastern North Carolina, Ahoskie. He went to Page High School. Page used to put their whole foot.
Yeah, they used to. They probably smoked y'all. They put the brakes.
Smoked
on
y'all, our boots. Like Page was, is one of the biggest high schools in outside of Grimsley, but one of the big rivals in Greensboro. But yeah, man, we had a good time catching up. He gave me a lot of hip hop history, especially here in North Carolina. So shout out to Fonte. Shout out to Big Pooh. Shout out to Ninth Wonder. Shout out to also Brian Dawson. He's the radio personality.
I was gonna say, Brian Dawson in DC, ain't he? No, he's down here.
He's in Raleigh. He's in Raleigh. But he was in 102 Jams for a long time, so you might recognize
that. Makes sense. Yeah. That's why it sounded familiar. Yeah. That's what's up, man. I saw that interview. I said, one, I was like, that boy Nick be getting all the content and the culture for the station, and two,
the culture's on my back.
Yeah.
But nobody. Here's the thing. Somebody sent me that. Who sent me that? My girl sent me that. She sent me that. She
shout out to Love, y'all.
Yeah, she sent me the proclamation. I'm guessing like her mama or somebody had took a picture of the proclamation and sent it to her, because I know she wasn't at the Durham City Council meeting. And she was like, "Did you know this?" And I was like, "Nah." And then I kind of like thought about it, and I was looking at the Durham City Council meeting for another reason, and I was like, "Whoa, little brother's there!" So I reached out to their team, and they were very helpful. And
real quick, speaking of your queen, I was watching a movie the other day, and I was like, "Is that?" And then I realized who her like celebrity doppelganger is.
Who?
I'll tell you in a second. I'm gonna pull it up, and you just.
Somebody said Nia Long. She looked like Nia Long. I can't remember if that was like one of my family friends or somebody from our friend group that said that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you the movie.
I know she came as Nia Long for
the birthday.
And Dom came as old dude from Baby Boy.
When I tell you that whole conversation we had the other day had me in tears. So I was watching About last night.
Oh. Which one? Joy Bryant? You think she looks like Joy Bryant?
Like Joy Bryant.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Now that you said that, I can see that.
I can see it, yeah.
I can see Joy Bryant.
When she hears it, she might cuss me out and be like, "Yo, like what?"
But Joy Bryant was mad annoying in that movie.
I feel like Joy Bryant gets typecast to play like crazy chicks.
I used to get Joy Bryant and Zoe Saldana.
I used to mix them up too.
Look
at us confusing black.
I was like Zoe Saldana didn't play in Honey. She wasn't in.
Stop. Stop, yo. What's up with this guy?
Yo, Joy Bryant wasn't in Drumline.
I was trying to find like maybe a better picture to. But ask her, be like,
Joy Bryant.
So you look like Joy Bryant.
She's gonna listen to this podcast, so she's gonna hear.
Well, you'll talk to her before this drops.
Ray did that too. Oh man, T-minus what? How many weeks? We got a couple of weeks. Yeah, Friday marks like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and you're out of here, man. Saw your mom, your grandma.
Yeah, came in town. So.
What they call your grandma? Nanny.
Yeah,
nanny. Okay. Man, saw them. I don't call her Nanny. You know what I'm saying? You know, I feel like I reserved like the parent, the grandparent nicknames for the people that are related to them. Like I don't like I don't hear a lot of people calling Reggie Poppy, because you know his grandkids call him Poppy. Or like I don't hear people call my mom Nana, because you know no. But yeah, no, it was good seeing them, man. And, you know, y'all did the whole getting ready for Austin thing.
Yeah. It was,
how long were y'all out doing that?
All day Sunday.
That was Sunday. I don't know why I thought that was Saturday, but that was Sunday. Wow.
It was Sunday.
Made them good folk miss church.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They went back and watched it on Facebook. But when got some furniture, so you know, there's that. Yeah, it's starting to get real, bro. Like it's starting to get real. It's starting to like set in. Mm-hmm. Even at work this morning, we sent out a weekly email, and they put in a weekly email that like
you up out of here.
Yeah. So
and then you got a short week this week, right? Next week. Because the 4th of July is Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Next week is a short week.
So do you get Monday and Tuesday? How does that work?
No, we just get Tuesday.
So you go to work Monday and then you're off Tuesday.
Yeah.
You got to go back to work Wednesday.
Yeah.
So the day that you normally work from home.
It's my work from home day. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, is my work from home day. So, but my executive director was talking about she was saying that most people in the office will take that Monday too.
Yeah.
So you get Friday. She said that people take the Friday and the Monday. So you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
That.
I was like, that's kind of OD, but like
that's a lot. But
I would stay Friday and then take a Monday.
Yeah, I would probably just take a Monday because I feel like how much would you really have to do on a Friday? Most people, I work in news, so I can't say this for myself, but as a person who tries to facilitate interviews on a Friday, I can tell you by 4:00 people are checked out.
Yeah.
As somebody who starts their shift at 3:00, it can be very difficult. So, yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time the 4th was like on a Tuesday, on a random like middle of the week, early of the week day, but sure. It's weird too that the 4th of July is like here.
Yeah,
like this year is coasting. It is. We keep saying it before. In our last.
It is breezing through.
We talked about halfway through the year. Nah, y'all better get your life. Better find Jesus. Better do something before 2024. Yeah, because it's here. Yeah, damn near here. We do this every episode. Scale of 1 to 10. How you feeling mentally and physically?
Physically like a 9. Mm-hmm. Mentally, I'm tired, bro. Like,
about a 5.
I don't know if like. Were you here Saturday morning?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the bed till like 12. No, Friday.
No, that was Saturday. It was Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, because like
you were knocked out.
I was in there till like noon, bro. Like I was like, I just don't want to get up.
And then the sun doesn't come up on that side either, so
no.
you're good. Good.
And I close my blinds. I never open those blinds. Cause I always feel weird because there's little trailers out there where they're doing construction, and I'm like, I don't want to be in here butt naked. But yeah, I was just laying there and I was just out of it. And then physically, I recharged in, but mentally I'm just kind of out of it. I need a haircut. That's why I got the hood on.
Oh yeah, you got the hoodie Justin. Hoodie Justin, like hoodie Mellow.
But other than that, I'm cool, brother. Again, starting to get excited. We'll see how it go when I get down there. How about you?
I'm an 8 across the board. 8 mentally, I'm good. 8 physical. I would be a little bit higher than that, but my back is a little stiff from the workout. It doesn't hurt, just a little stiff. It's one of the workouts. So
you did a back workout this morning?
It was back day, but
where do you rank like your favorite workouts, like body groups, and the pain that comes along with it? Because like I hate doing legs, but like the pain that comes along with legs is weirdly satisfying.
I would probably have to put leg day. Like if I had to rank it, like I put legs 1.
Legs 1 was 2. Out of legs, back, chest, arms.
Legs. Chest and arms, because you usually do chest and arms the same, right? On the same, like in the same workout. Yeah. And then I put back last. I don't know, for some reason I just don't like doing back day. Back day does I'm never super energized doing a back day. I'm never like, okay, let's do back day, because like back day is just like. But it is a very, I think all of them are important muscles, but it's a very important muscle. It's an underappreciated muscle. Yeah. Until you actually like start seeing like some results in your back. What about you?
I would go legs. Well, favorite workouts would go like chest, arms, shoulders, back, legs. The pain that comes after you work out would probably go reverse order. Legs, back, shoulders, arms.
Cause some arms and that soreness from the arms and chest, man. It's like you walking like this, like you can't even do anything. Yeah. So I'm back is a little stiff, but I'm all right. I popped the Advil, so I'm all right. Okay, before we get into this, I always got to mention this. Anything in the hot take, anything in the music hot takes that you have, or anything you want to get off, any hate?
I got some hate to get off. I got plenty of hate to get off.
Okay. Any music related hate?
Yeah, I'll start with love. I really like that Killer Mike album.
Shout out Killer Mike. Shout out Killer Mike.
Like Killer Mike is one of the people I could just listen to talk all day. I really like that album. My hate is that the BET Awards was trash.
Did you watch it?
I watched part of it and I was like, this is just.
I watched clips.
It
just was a lot going on.
I just don't understand. Like, I'll say this, right? When we talk about who was it that did? I'm trying not to be that guy today, but whatever. When we talk about who was that did the coolest monkey in the jungle shirts?
H&M.
H&M. Like when anything like that happens, we're like, hey, somebody in the room. Like, how does this pass so many eyes?
Right.
And like nobody stops it and this and that. When it comes to like BT and award shows, and this is supposed to be like black excellence, right? Like, are we not in the room to say like, hey, like maybe we should cool it down?
Yeah,
and this is gonna sound like hate, although a lot of y'all might not publicly say it, but I think y'all agree. Like, I'm so ready for Ice Spice's 15 minutes to be over, bro. Like,
is it really Ice Spice's fault though?
It's not her fault, and like I can't be mad at her because ride this wave as long as you can. But like I'm just so tired of seeing Ice Spice in that one little dance move that she do, and just like people going crazy. And like
I like Ice Spice. I think here's the thing I like about Ice Spice. I think that what I like about her is that she is taking this moment and maximizing it to the fullest, right? Yeah. And which, look, we could be critical on the opposite end, right? Where she is not, where she does have a moment and she doesn't. We look at somebody like on the opposite end of it, like Bobby Shmurda, who like didn't get to truly live out that moment, right? Like he threw that hat in the air, he did the dance, and next thing we know, like he was in prison. So like Ice Spice is taking advantage of a moment, and like she's not hurting anybody. Yeah. That's my perspective, but I definitely see where you're coming from, like because we've had discussions about it. Yeah. So like you're ready for 15 minutes to be up.
I'm ready for 15 minutes to be done.
Who else? It's JT from the City Girls, and she's getting mad at Uzi
over Ice Spice. They say
over Ice Spice allegedly.
I saw somebody on social media. I'm not going to even say which social media, but I saw somebody on social media that was like, the thing about the BET Awards is that we'll never get. They showed a picture. It was like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kim, like Kanye, like some other people. And they're like, we'll never get this again. Yeah. It said like the names and what we think about when we say like premier black people or like black excellence. We won't get to the BET Awards because so many of those seats nowadays are filled by like reality stars.
Yeah, it's really become the BET Awards and so many of these award shows have become more of the influencer awards.
It's 100% what it is.
Reality TV show awards. Even your man Ray J is not even known for the music anymore.
Yeah, shout out my man Ray J.
Ray J was looking crazy in that Versace suit, in that Versace outfit. He was looking wild, and he looked even wilder on stage.
Ray J can do no wrong in my eyes.
Ray J was looking wild. If you're sick of Ice Spice, I'm sick of Ray J, like making a fool of himself. Get your man. Keep that man accountable. Keep Ray J accountable. If you gonna keep Ice Spice accountable, you gotta keep Ray J accountable. But yeah, man, you just want better for the award show. Also, too, you gotta play into it that the writer's strike is still happening. So
true.
I mean, nobody really wrote the show. Yeah, people still write the show.
But I just think there's so much more. Like the we've always known like sex sales, right? Like you can't sugarcoat that or beat around the bush with that. But is that not just like low hanging fruit? Like if everything is just like, because they have what I think like Ice Spice performed. What's the girl? What, Sexy Red or something like that? Yeah. Like she performed. Like are we just resorting like? Come on, y'all. Like,
and I saw I'm blanking on his name, but Isaac. Oh yeah, Isaac Hayes the second.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about on Twitter.
Yeah, really cool dude. He said that the 50th anniversary of hip hop celebration thing was like all over the place. Yeah, like it was.
I didn't see that part.
He was a little disappointed in that. I mean, gone are the days that we're going to get like celebrities like Will Smith and Jada to host the BET Awards.
So wild too that you pulled out, but
those are like
I know they hosted. They hosted before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying like they hosted it before, and you think about it, like 2005, like Will Smith in 2005, like Will Smith now is a big star, but like they were like at the peak of that, right?
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, you're not gonna get Steve Harvey to host it again.
No. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey ain't doing nothing.
You're not getting Said. Said is out of here. Said is on
The Neighborhood.
Look, he's doing TV shows and like Said got the bag. Nah, I mean you rarely see Cedric the Entertainer like out like that outside of TV shows. So yeah, gone are those days. So it's kind of just like it looks like and it sounds like the BET Awards are skewing younger. Mm-hmm. And so maybe and younger than us, so maybe it's just like not for us anymore.
Yeah.
Until something drastically happens. All right, so let's get to it. You brought up an interesting topic. What were you about to say?
No.
Okay,
sorry, let's do it.
Yeah. So you brought up an interesting topic, and we both listened to a really good podcast that we don't mind shouting out because it's just solid. I want to go to his next live show. I hate that I missed it. I think when they announced the dates, I think it was like 2 weeks or whatever. It didn't give me enough time to get my stuff together. But Bomani Jones, the right time with Bomani Jones, and he had one of his good friends on there, Joel Anderson from Missouri City, the fastest 9-year-old in Missouri City, and he is on the platform called Slow Burn. And this season he focused in, and I don't know if you remember previous seasons. I can't think
Tupac. So it's done through Slate.
Yes.
And it's a podcast series called Slow Burn, where they just examine different things. So
really good.
This is season 8. Past seasons they've done Roe v. Wade, the LA riots, the road to the Iraq War, the Clinton impeachment, Watergate, Biggie and Tupac. David Duke. I think that's all.
I heard the David Duke one was really good. It was the leader of the
I think that was like the first one that first or second one that kind of popped off. But they do, just short podcast series around these different topics, and
I think it's important to point out that for context, like Joel Anderson is a black man.
Yeah.
So like he's bringing, and I say that because he brings a unique perspective to things. Just like when Justin mentioned earlier about how we were joking like bringing pulling the culture as far as like my station. When I do so. It's a unique perspective when you have somebody of the culture, somebody a black person do some of these stories because we have a perspective of it that is unique and is just not going to sugarcoat the situation.
Yeah, if we really look at how things are typically viewed is from like not from our perspective, right?
Right.
Having us to kind of relay that or present that view is always interesting. But this season, so this is like season 8 of Slow Burn. They did the spotlight or the person that they were focusing on is Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas, yeah.
Who I don't know how it was for you growing up, but like you mentioned Clarence Thomas' name around like my house, and it was like
crickets.
It was like Uncle Tom. It was like it was a lot of disdain for Clarence Thomas, which is crazy because even now, like he's still just doing things that are just like
here's. You know what? I'll do you one better with Clarence Thomas. And this is honestly how I grew up. Like there was not a lot of love for Clarence Thomas in my grandparents' household, in my own household growing up. So much so that I didn't learn about Clarence Thomas. What I did know about Clarence Thomas is that he was the second black Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
And that of the Anita Hill case.
Yep. That's how it was for us too. It was when you think about Supreme Court justices, it was Thurgood Marshall who got there off of Brown versus Board of Education.
Yeah.
Right? That landmark case and kind of catapulted him. And then it was Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
And like you said, the first thing that comes up with Clarence Thomas is the Anita Hill situation.
And involving a black woman.
Yeah, involving a black woman, yeah.
But and we're giving this, I just want to provide this context. We're giving this from the black perspective, right? Like this is this is genuinely how a lot of black families, we're coming from North Carolina, so it's technically the South. I like to call us Mid-Atlantic, but we the South. The Southern, we're the South, and that's just sort of kind of the feeling. But I want to hear your thoughts. What did you finish it?
I finished it. Already,
okay, I'm on episode 2.
So I'll say this, again, shout out to Bomani, shout out to Joel Anderson. Bomani for kind of just having Joel as his recurring guest, but Joel Anderson for putting this together, right?
Yeah.
This to me was a really great. That's why I pitched the topic to you, because I thought it was a really great podcast series. So you said the biggest takeaways, or
I guess give me some takeaways. Give me your feeling toward the pod. I mean, obviously, I'm enjoying it so far, but you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. For me, like you said, it gave you the backstory around Clarence Thomas.
Yeah,
and it taught us about him,
which is pretty. It's funny. It's kind of funny. It's a little the people they were interviewing. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. And I thought that part I thought was dope. Right, the podcast opens up with, and I know Joel said this on Bomani's show, but he just kind of showed up at Clarence Thomas's mother's house, and he was like, "This can't she can't." Honestly still live here. And so he just walked in, knocked on the door, and said this white lady came to the door. He was like, "Oh, this is the wrong place." But then said his Clarence Thomas's mother was just there and just started talking to him.
Yeah, and she was
which is super dope. Which I imagine as a journalist, you probably don't just run into something like that all the time.
I mean, it's every once in a while you run into it, but that knock on the door, I've done it plenty of times in my career, and you either get it's 3 tiers. Either you get the polite, no, I'm good. Either you get the angry, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or come on in.
Yeah.
And it always catches you off guard with the come on in, because you never know. But in this case, I mean, she's 94 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So I'll say this, kind of my thought process going through this series. The first episode and a half, because only 4.
Yeah.
The first episode and a half really made me sympathize with Clarence Thomas, bro. It made me look at everything from what we now view as his disdain towards black people.
Yeah.
And kind of understanding that with just how cruel kids can be, man. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's wired the same. Yeah. And if they was jumping on him and just and calling him ABC,
which we'll let you listen to that podcast for you to get that one. But it's very, very it caught me. I was I clutched my pearls when I heard that. I was
right. I was you could see how he would develop a disdain, and then the humanization of him, because the pressure that he obviously looked up to his grandfather, right? Mm-hmm. And the pressure that his grandfather put on him of nah, you're not about to quit anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Buddy wanted to go be a preacher, and for the first part of his life, really embraced I want to be the first black person to do this, do that, do that.
Yep.
So it really made you see him in a different light, and that's what really intrigued me. And then the second part of it is when it's almost you could probably pinpoint it, where he just makes a flip, and it's forget this whole trying to do what's good for the greater good. I'm going to look out for me.
Did I get to that part? Would you put that on Holy Cross? Was it?
Yeah.
Or or was it Yale?
It was Yale, because it was after, because Holy Cross, he was still like an activist. They said he had the Malcolm X posters. Have you got to the part where Buddy said he had went to visit him? Last time he went to visit him, he had the Malcolm X poster, and then he came back to visit him 3 years later, and he had a Rolls Royce poster where it was Bro, he made a decision to be you know what, I'm going to look out for me.
Yeah.
And
But that's what he was taught growing up.
Yeah,
pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Type of logic.
So, and like I think Bomani made a good point about it when he said, I don't necessarily like within the black community, we think Clarence Thomas hates black people.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For the most part. For the most part.
I can't, I think that's actions will point you will make you draw conclusions, but we can't say that he hates black people, right?
Yeah.
But Bomani made the point that Clarence he ain't a fan of the other side either.
He's not, and this is very evident, right? Because Clarence Thomas, he's what? Clarence Thomas is in his 70s. Yeah, okay.
70s. Which is like side note. I was surprised his mom was still.
Yeah, no, I thought Clarence Thomas was older.
Yeah.
And his mother is sharp as a whip.
Yeah.
But you know what again, I'm technically halfway through the series, and what stuck out to me is Clarence Thomas' story is no different from a lot of our stories, or a lot of our grandparents' stories, or a lot of our parents' stories, where especially if you grew up in the South, you dealt with colorism.
Yeah.
I try to tie things into my own life. Like I look at somebody like my grandmother. She dated this light-skinned man who was my grandfather. And she was ridiculed for being a brown-skinned woman, dark-skinned woman.
Yeah.
And she had a mental breakdown. She had to be admitted into the hospital.
I remember you saying that. I didn't know that was why.
She had a mental breakdown. So imagine this guy who dealt with colorism. Also, another thing I related to, he's from Savannah. Savannah and Charleston are a lot alike in the culture, the Gullah culture, the Geechee culture.
Yeah.
And basically the best way, the easiest way for me to get people to know what that is like Gullah Gullah Island.
Yeah.
Right. And that's no slight. That is actually like a elementary way of getting into that culture.
Yeah.
It is basically that stuff is still alive. I mean, you go to downtown Charleston, you go to Savannah, you go to places like King Street, which I didn't work far from King Street, South Carolina. And they still have the accent. They still carry on that culture. And it sounds like a Caribbean accent. And they told him to ditch that. And what is that? Code switching. Yeah. That's stuff that we deal with.
Yeah.
And then, one last thing I thought about was I look at my great uncle. So my grandfather, on my mom's side of the family, my grandfather's brother. My grandfather, his brother, they lived together. They lived together on a farm. They were broke, and like a lot of mamas who were left back in the 20s, 30s to raise their children. Sometimes the father wasn't around. So they would go and find work. So, I mean, you can't have your children together. You can't have your children with you when you're trying to find work. So you would, let like your mom or cousins or uncles raise the kids. So my grandfather and my great uncle went to go live with, one went to live with one uncle and the other one went to live with another uncle. And so my grandfather lived with the poor uncle, which shaped his views, right? My grandfather
shaped how you view things.
My grandfather was a Democrat, very in the modern sense, was very active in the civil rights movement. My grandfather, my great uncle, his brother, grew up with the middle class / rich uncle.
Yeah.
And he was a heavy Republican.
Yeah.
He reminded me a lot of kind of like when they were describing Clarence Thomas. It's like, wow, this reminds me of my great uncle Charles. Like my great uncle Charles had a picture of George Bush. Both of the Bushes was a huge Ronald Reagan fan. Lived in a black neighborhood with a Republican flag flying in the front yard. And it was of the theory of pick yourself up by the bootstraps. I worked a career, retired, made a great living for my family. Why can't you?
Yeah. I think that there's a conversation to be had, like where both of those meet, right? Like, again, I think that we, especially as we evolve with like talking about or bringing light to just the like systemic injustices is systemic injustices and
that's a hard word. I know I'm gonna mess up.
Systemics be messing me up. Yeah,
I kick your back in.
Yeah. And just like the history and understanding the history and understanding how we got here.
Yeah.
But also understand like I think there's got to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
For us to have those discussions. Mm-hmm. But like you said with Clarence Thomas, his childhood did shape a lot of his views, right?
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that like could probably get overlooked is the need for like spaces where you know where black is accepted and black and it's a black space, but it's not designated as a black space. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like obviously we go back to like segregation and things like that. You had black schools, black this, blah, 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 whatever. And I think that that's good from like even with HBCUs and things like that.
Right.
But in America as black people, oftentimes if it is not designated as a black space, then you're in a predominantly white space, right? And we saw that with his grade school. He was in like a black school just because of segregation and all of that. But then as he goes to college, he's at Holy Cross and he's at Yale, where he is the only black person.
Seminary school too.
Yeah, seminary school, where he's the only black person there.
Yeah.
And I think that again, it almost puts you in a box. I could see him getting to a point where he's like, if I'm going to be successful, I gotta like, we all realize we gotta play the game. Like you said, code switching. We come here and talk about it all the time about how on a daily basis we have to do things that we don't want to do just to survive and to make it through life in America as black people. But like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, he prayed to God that take the hate out of his heart.
Yeah.
After a protest, and you know, it basically shaped his life. Like, like he prayed to God to change his heart to lay the foundation to where he sort of is right now.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away on the podcast. I mean, it's an interesting. So again, I'm in the first half of it, and I think it lays a great foundation of how we got here. But are you able to speak to the second part?
The second part of like just like this,
because it's 4 parts, right?
4 parts,
so the like 3
last
and 4,
2, yeah. So essentially, you know, he goes through the early part where he was, you know, marching, activist, Black Panther almost, like all of those things. And then he goes into law school. I forgot the guy's name that after Clarence Thomas graduated law school, and he was just trying to get an opportunity, and some Republican gave him an opportunity. And again, we talk about shaping his views.
Yeah.
Because at that time, he said it was so hard to get a job opportunity in a law office and make any type of money. This guy gave him an opportunity, and then like that guy happened to be a Republican.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, pulling himself up by his bootstraps, his work ethic like paid off, and he started to climb that ladder. And that flipped his political party from Democrat to Republican.
Yeah.
In like episode 3, you start to see where he started to get within these political circles as a judge, and I guess was tapped pretty early by Republicans to be their guy when it comes to like, oh, we need a black face.
Right. Because he's all along he never hid his conservative values.
No, he's never. So like that's the other thing that's interesting is like a lot of his conservative values, I think that we probably heard growing up. Yeah. Like black people in general are conservative.
Yeah.
Right?
I say this all the time. Yeah. Growing up in the South, being black, you're conservative.
But Clarence Thomas was kind of tapped to be that guy for Republicans, and he made it. Like I said this before, he made a choice at a certain point.
And because he's been in the Supreme Court for 30 years, over more than 30 years.
It's been more than 30 years.
Like our entire lifetime, basically.
Yeah, he's been there. Yeah,
90 was that 91?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I was 2 years old.
Yeah,
I was 2, about to turn 2.
Yeah,
not even 2 yet because it was October.
Yeah, I mean, almost our entire lifetime has been on the Supreme.
the toughest thing for me when you talk about him in the decision he made to, I guess, strive for individual success is how hard would that's got to be a tough life when like I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate when I'm coaching and the kids get mad at me and they say something slick under their breath over
you
know what I mean? Imagine everybody in your race, everybody that looks like you is just like doesn't believe in you, doesn't have anything good to say about you.
That is a tough pill to swallow. Like that is like for your own people to kind of like not know you for the guy they want you to be.
Yeah. So and
that you were.
Yeah. And so that's the thing, and I think that was part of the topic that why I wanted to have this discussion. But like his friends, like his black friends that he went to college with, thought very highly of, like still do.
Yeah, they still do. the one that the Coos.
That was
I look. We're dropping a lot of inside like stuff on, but I really encourage you again to listen to the podcast. You get some of this stuff, but to your question, what was your exact question? Because
the question is just, we've discussed this before, but one, do you feel like there's a social responsibility for you to put aside your individual success or your individual like want for whatever it is, money, fame, whatever that may be, to shoulder the load for black people? And two, is it right for us to judge this man off of, like you said, what we want him to do, of us feeling like I guess as a follow-up to the first question, is it right for us to view him the way that we view him because we don't think he has had our best interests at heart?
I'll answer in a reverse order. I think it's yes and no, right? I think it's fair, yes, because like you said, actions are a big indicator of a lot of things. But at the same time, I learned so much about, and admittedly, I'm embarrassed I didn't know more about Clarence Thomas. Not because Clarence Thomas was or is one of my heroes. It's because it's something that you should know about, you know. But this is a guy who's still active on the Supreme Court. Just handed down. They're handing out a lot of life-changing decisions this week. One of them handed down today, with being Tuesday.
We just not celebrated, but we just hit the 1 year mark of them overturning Roe v. Wade.
Yeah. So yes and no, because we didn't. One, I think a lot of people don't have that prior context, the historical context on Clarence Thomas. Yes, in the fact that, you know, hey, I mean, he's made these decisions in his life.
See, but again, is that, and this is not me caping for him, right? But even the need of me to say, like, I'm not caping for him, I agree with you until
you kind of answer your own question.
Yeah. I agree with you that I wish we were more knowledgeable on Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll come after he passes or after he gets off the Supreme Court, anything like that. But I wish we were more knowledgeable about it. But is that not unfair to a lot of us don't have the backstory? I learned more about him in these 4 episodes than I ever knew about him before.
Right.
But like his reputation like preceded him, right? So it was already shaped within Black America that Clarence Thomas is Uncle Tom. Clarence Thomas can't be trusted. Clarence Thomas is a puppet for the GOP. Yeah. Clarence Thomas is all these things that is anti-Black.
Yeah.
Without knowing the history. But like, people don't get the full story. But to your, like, you can't, I don't know. I'm so torn.
I mean, I don't know. I'm with you. I'm torn. I'm torn. Especially after listening to this series. To answer your other question, do we carry? Do we sacrifice individualism with like carrying or shouldering?
Like, us as a people.
Us as a people. I think I think you can do both. I think.
Would you do something that would not be perceived well by Black America, but it would give you generational wealth? Say $100 million. Say it would make you a billionaire. Right.
It would make me
but black people will look at you with a side eye for the rest of your life.
And when you say generational wealth, it's just bringing up my family. It's not bringing up anybody.
You do with it what you want.
Okay.
You could put kids through school. You could do you could open up a school like LeBron. You could invest in black business. You could do all those things, but the means in which you took to get there.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that, man. I don't know if I could take morally, like I don't know if if I'm willing to make that sacrifice. And I know people would look at me and listen to this and be like, that's cap. You know who I am as a person.
Yeah.
So
no, I like hearing you. Like I don't doubt it. I trust you. It feels genuine when you say that.
It's hard for me to like. Yes, I can do all these things after the fact, but the bridges you burn in order to get what you want it's funny. I was watching Infinity Wars yesterday, and for Thanos and the fact that I'm putting Thanos in the conversation about
Clarence Thomas
and
about Lunch Date Nick.
But bear with me, people.
That's a sick street.
But he literally. He killed people. He did a lot of bad stuff in order to get all of the Infinity Stones. And it's just like, are you willing to just burn bridges? Are you willing to like sacrifice your morals? And a lot of people, yes. A lot of people, yes.
A lot of people say yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that will tell you no to your face, but would 100% do it.
But the relationship I have with God, and it makes it so hard for me to sit up there at night or in the morning or whenever I talk to God and not be like, damn,
I was wrong. Yeah.
What about you?
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I never had $1 billion before.
Conscious,
and
like,
I don't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
And so I won't be missing anything.
Yeah. Cause I couldn't I couldn't be a billionaire and be happy if I hit up the group chat and realize that y'all kicked me out. You know? It would drive me crazy.
It would. It's.
But I also can't be mad at somebody who does choose that route.
I can't
be mad at you, right?
And just like I could, like, just bringing it back to Clarence Thomas, like, as much stuff as like people in our family, people in our community disagree with him about, I understand how he got to that place. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that we should not hold him accountable or anybody accountable, right? Especially with allegations that have come up against
we
him.
didn't even get into.
I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Man. Yeah.
And allegedly, I throw that around. I grant I'm not even fully through the series yet, so information. You're privy to information I don't have.
Yeah. I just think that it's believe women. You feel me? Like where there's smoke, there's fire, and like it's sick that we're boy. I'll say this and I'll let you go ahead and get your point off and
No. That was it.
It's like definitely believe women, but it's one of those things where you get to episode 4, and I'm
gonna check back in you with
and I'm pretty sure you know a little bit about you brought up the name Anita Hill, right? So I'm pretty sure you know a little bit about it, and I'm pretty sure you know who the driving force as to questioning her accountability was.
1,000%, yes,
right,
yes.
So like
that came up during this campaign.
Yeah. As it should have. Like, to me, that should have. We spent so much time talking about stupid stuff, right? Yeah. Like, stupid stuff. But, like, things like that should come on. But, again, to what we were saying before about us individually not being able to put ourselves above our people, right? Yeah. That's the part that's super frustrating. Especially, like, I'm not telling people how to vote. And, like, I'm not a Republican. Most of the time. Oh, no, I'm playing. But like, there's some truth. It goes back to what you said.
Yeah.
It's like if if Republicans could just chill out and not be so like they just so dug in on the racist things that they do.
Yeah.
Like they would get a lot of black people that I think would become Republicans. Because I think we as Black America are starting to see through the Democratic Party and them using us just as somebody else the other day said, hey, imagine the power we would have if we legitimately held our vote up, like held our vote hostage.
And look, and for people who listen to this podcast but this is probably the most politics we've ever talked about on this podcast, but I don't even see it as like a political thing. I think it's just like they're in plain sight, right? Yeah. And I think this is a conversation that all Black people have, man, when it comes to politics, when it comes to how it affects our everyday life, when it comes to culture, when it comes to somebody like Clarence Thomas that, again, we said we didn't know much about, but we knew sort of like why there wasn't affection towards him, right? So I encourage people to go listen to Slow Burn by Slate.
Slate, Joel Anderson.
The pick, if you need any help, if you type in Slow Burn wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube, because they have the audio episodes on YouTube, you'll see a picture of Clarence Thomas, and you're in the right direction. So I encourage people. I think this was a pretty good discussion.
Yeah, man.
It's hard to follow up with a sports bag, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, real quick, how'd you feel about the draft?
Draft. So okay, it went exactly how I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
I know 5 of those guys, and the rest of them I don't know. But if they turn out to be good, I will know the rest of them.
Yeah.
Shout out to hey, roll Tide in the Queen City, because you got Bryce Young and you got Brandon Miller.
Oh, that is. I didn't realize that. I did not realize
the
that
connection.
At all.
The connection. Hey, I think Brandon Miller has the potential to be a good. I was for trading for Zion. Who knows? It might not have worked. It might have worked.
They
sell some tickets.
I'm gonna tell you this right here. The Charlotte Hornets are about to become the Memphis Grizzlies of next NBA season. It's a lot of young boys in there that's just gonna be wilding.
We're gonna make the playoffs.
Young boys. Well, it's crazy that you. That's all you're concerned about.
No, I here's the thing. I think I don't even know who the coach is.
I don't even know who
the Charlotte Hornets coach.
Hey, hold on, bro. Hold on. Hey, come on, man. Special guest. Yo.
What's up with you, bro?
Hey, bro, you on the pod right now.
Put it closer to the mic, yeah.
Hey, me and Nick is recording right now. What's good with you?
Hey, man, nothing much, man. I just wanted to call and see what was going on, but hey, man, y'all boys potting. Hey, I can hit y'all boys back. What y'all talking about?
Oh, that boy must be shook right now.
His voice shaking.
Yeah. Hey, normally he would have. Hey, we talking about what shaped your childhood.
Oh man, yeah. Boy, I'm gonna stay away from that one.
Hey, we about to finish in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh man, boy. That's a midnight party. So.
Come on, man. Hey, I'm gonna call you. I'll call you back in a second.
All right, bro. Peace.
With that being said, no, here's the thing. I think I would have traded for Zion, but I understand Brandon Miller. I think the Hornets. They have a decent looking roster. If you're able to get Miles Bridges back, they got the pieces. We'll wait and see. Scoot Henderson. Well, I was about to call him Scoot Smith. Scoot Henderson. I know, super random. Scoot Henderson. I think I can't wait to see him in Summer League. I can't wait to see him and Wemby.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Wemby, bro. Like, I'm one of them people that think
he's gonna break
Jokic and Embiid are just gonna put their body into him. And even him at 7'5" is going to just get bullied.
I don't even think he's really going to be in the post like that. I think he's going to be playing like Dirk Nowitzki. Like,
that's crazy, yeah.
I mean, you're not going to block a shot.
Hey, shout out to Miss Wemby. You feel me?
Hey, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. This is the podcast, episode 189. You had it.
It was me, but I think I was tied up. So
which Friday joint? We had a couple of Friday joints. Which one you want to?
It was Fabo and Aaron Ray.
That was me, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I like that one. I like the new Fabo record.
Yeah, I like that.
And Aaron Ray's my guy. I like Aaron Ray. You can find us on Instagram and on Twitter. Instagram and on TikTok at This Is the Thing Podcast at #2. Again, This Is the Thing Podcast at #2, and on Twitter at
This Is the Thing _ This Is the Thing _ on Twitter.
Try to steal your thunder, man. All right, man. Hey, like the OKC Thunder. What was the bar that Drake got off? It's Running Money. OKC Thunder or something like that.
So, I don't know.
Yeah,
shout out Aubrey, man.
Hey, man. Hey, we getting a new Drake album soon. All right, y'all. Peace.
Not somebody.
I took some L's I'm not okay with. I'm always trying to